Hungry?
God of War Ragnarok is the sequel to the critically acclaimed God of War soft reboot from 2018. I love that game. It might be one of my favorite games of all time. You know, I'm not even the biggest fan of the first, like the original games. I mean, they're fun and all, but on a story aspect, I feel like Kratos is just a little too just generic angry guy. But Ragnarok had some serious shoes to fill. But I am overwhelmed to say that it manages to be everything I wanted and much, much more. But let's talk about it. Hi guys, DPX here, reviewing today God of War Ragnarok. I'm going to do something a little different this episode. There will be a spoiler segment. There will be a timestamp that you get to skip to if you don't want to be spoiled, but I don't usually have that in here. But I want to talk spoilers, so just so you guys know. Anyways, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell, leave a comment, or I will determine your fate, and it won't be good.
Why didn't you trust your own son?
Don't let him take me!
Now, I will admit, the gameplay for God of War Ragnarok is very similar to God of War 2018. But I thought the gameplay for God of War 2018 was amazing. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, I don't want to get into spoilers, but the gameplay is very similar to 2018 for the first few hours. It's almost like the game is trying to warm you back into the gameplay of 2018 and then changes it up on you, but not too much to where it becomes unrecognizable. Honestly, if they made too many changes of the gameplay, I'm not too sure if I would have liked it. I'm not going to say that I definitely wouldn't have liked it, but I'm not sure. But the movement of Kratos in this game, wow. Using Kratos' Leviathan axe and the chains is just so smooth and tight, and the combat, I love it. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm trying my best not to spoil the game, but I'm going to have to talk about a slight spoiler, so skip to the time on screen. Okay, there. Alright, 3, 2, 1. You play as Atreus in many sections of this game. I said this is a slight spoiler because there is a good portion of this game where you play as Atreus, and it's not like the first half you play as Kratos and the second half you play as Atreus. No, there are Kratos sections and Atreus sections, and the first Atreus section is pretty early on in the game. And I really noticed how whenever you play as Kratos, it's a little more, hyperactive, a little more combat focused, which is certainly fitting for Kratos, even with this more calm version of him. When you play as Atreus, the gameplay is a bit slower, and is more focused on the story than the combat, which I thought was a nice detail that, to be honest, I kind of just realized as I wrote this video. Not to mention the weapons that each character has, and the unlockable weapons are all awesome. Many people will say that God of War Ragnarok is a little too similar to 2018, and while it is pretty similar, it is a lot more different and does it to perfection.
I still can't believe Mom led a whole rebellion here against Odin and never talked about it.
The fact that it didn't go well might have covered that notion.
Without getting into spoilers yet, the story is where I think this game really shines. God of War Ragnarok takes place 3 years after 2018's game, as Kratos and Atreus are training for their inevitable battle, Ragnarok. Going off of the ending of the first game that left us off on a crazy cliffhanger. Again, it is very hard to get into this without getting into spoilers, so I'm actually going to have another segment, like I said, about the spoilers. But right off the bat, both Atreus and Kratos go through their own arcs that feel earned and feel right, and honestly gave me chills with their moments. Also, Odin. Not much of a spoiler to say that he's in this game. And a lot of people say that he is not really that awesome, or as awesome as he should be. Well, I feel, and try not to get into spoilers, but I feel Odin is not the badass type of villain, but rather the kind of villain who you are frightened by just by talking to him. Without getting into spoilers, that's what I think of Odin. Not to mention, Thor is in this game, already revealed, not a spoiler. He's pretty cool too. And the side characters too, Freya, Mimir, Sindri, Brock. I feel just about every single character in this game that the game spends some amount of time on is very compelling. I want to talk more about the story So the next segment, again, will be a spoiler segment. And all I'll say, before you skip to this time on screen, alright, you look at that time, before you skip there, God of War Ragnarok has an exceptional story. Okay, I've given you many spoiler warnings, and this is your final one. 3, 2, 1, go. The first thing I want to talk about is the boss fights. You shockingly fight Thor pretty early on in this game, and I gotta be honest, this might be like top 5 favorite openings in any game I have ever played, maybe even top 3. I don't know what the other ones are, to be honest. I kind of didn't think about that, but shut up. Thor is not a pushover in this game, and the game even breaks the fourth wall in a way that I found very endearing. It brings up the screen that pops up whenever you die, even though you have more health and you clearly should not have died, but then it cuts back to the gameplay and Thor says,
"Oh no, I say when we're done. I'm not leaving till I see the real you."
That really got me. I was really confused for a second, and then I'm like, oh, you pranked me, game. Good on ya. On top of that, that cutscene at the beginning with Kratos, Thor, and Odin just talking to each other, just trying to make a deal with each other, even that is awesome. But I said I was going to talk about the boss fights. One boss fight I really liked was against Heimdall. I guess it's just because throughout the whole game, Heimdall is just a fucking dick and you just want to smash his face in. And you get to do that. What I liked about that moment is, even though that was satisfying, I was kind of feeling a little uneasy after that, because you feel Kratos is reverting back to his old ways. But I feel this game finished Kratos' arc perfectly. This felt like a story of a father letting his kid go to college, you know, as he lets Atreus go off on his own adventure. That leaves the future of this franchise in an interesting place. It seems like Sony Santa Monica wants to do like 5 games, so that means like 3 more games, probably with different pantheons, like maybe like Egyptian, but I don't know how you incorporate Kratos into the next game. I think it would focus on Atreus, which honestly, I would be down for that. Oh yeah, and Sindri and Brock. My heart sank. That's all I have to say. With a little more context, that's why I think the story is fantastic. The only thing that kind of bothered me was the twist with Tyr really being Odin the whole time. I don't know, I don't really think that added up. It's not a big deal. Other than that, a masterful story.
They absorb the memories of the forest so that the paint remembers too. Memories of the past.
This is the other stuff segment, the segment where I talk about other stuff worth mentioning but not much to say on. For one, the game looks stunning. Like, what can I even say? If you're playing on a PS5, it looks absolutely, like, it looks like it's taking advantage of the next generation. And I almost wish this was on PS5, because I feel like technically this could have been even better, but it is on PS4, and there's a lot of criticisms that that looks like a PS4 game. It's because it is a PS4 game. I haven't played it on PS4, but I'm sure it runs very well on PS4 as well. On top of that, the music is amazing too. What can I say? It's like very similar music. In fact, a lot of the tracks are recycled from the first game, to be honest, but the first game had an amazing soundtrack, so you know what? Yeah. Just use it again. I don't care. I also don't mention this too much in my reviews, but I think it is worth mentioning. The performances in this game are amazing. Christopher Judge as Kratos does a great job leading the story of the game, and Sonny Suljic made me really care about Atreus. God of War Ragnarok, needless to say, was well worth the wait. God of War Ragnarok, like I said, had some serious shoes to fill after the exceptional 2018 game, and seemed almost unrealistic that it would live up to that game and the, acclaim that it had So I honestly consider it a goddamn miracle that God of War Ragnarok manages to be better than 2018. With improved gameplay, a masterful story that feels emotional and satisfying, and just about everything else worth mentioning, this game hits the mark. If you have a PS5, you need to get this game. Hell, if you have a PS4, you need to get this game. It is a must-play for anyone, and that's why God of War Ragnarok gets the coveted DPX 10 out of 10. And I'm not just saying that because it's the cool thing to do, you know, if you give it anything lower than a 10 out of 10, it's like, you're wrong. No, I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10 because it fucking earned it. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with me? I know there's some people out there that don't think it's a 10 out of 10. Some people think it's just a bit too similar to the first game. And that's okay if you think that. You know, some people, I saw like this one reviewer get harassed because they gave it like a 6 out of 10. If you disagree with me, first of all, I don't really understand. I just don't get it. But if you disagree with me, that's fine. You know, you can tell me down below. And don't harass anyone over their opinions because it's like either you think this is a perfect 10 out of 10 game or you are wrong. That I don't like that. You know, that's kind of the discourse going around about this game. I happen to just really, truly believe it's a 10 out of 10. What do you guys think? God of War Ragnarok. Do you like the game? Do you not like the game? Do you have the game? Do you not have the game? If you don't have the game, do you want the game? Do you not want the game? Anything about the game, let me know down below. Anyways, be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, or I will determine your fate. And trust me, it will not be a good one. Bye!